Alright everyone, we have to talk about some more kooky conspiracy theories and also my thoughts on the August 21st solar eclipse, which will be over the US, total in some areas and impressive even outside of that general zone. It's going to fly through, be visible in South Carolina and on up through parts of Missouri and Iowa, all the way to the Pacific coast. This is not a signal to Earth that the end times are coming. Every time that there's going to be a comet, an eclipse, anything else under a near approach by an asteroid, everyone starts rambling about doomsday. And of course, that means that every single time this happens, somebody decides to proclaim it's the beginning of the rapture or the beginning of the tribulation. It always seems to be from a Christian standpoint, too. The funny part being, of course, Christians generally, if they're religious enough to believe in that bullshit, they don't even understand the source of their own dogma. For instance, in Proto-Judaism, which is the rudiments, the foundation upon which their religion is built, there's no hell. There's really no Satan. There are little devilish, like imp creatures and desert spirits that possess people, but there's no central Satan opposite to God, who is God's equal or the equal of Archangel Michael or something. It just doesn't exist. The whole dogma's screwed up because they didn't even understand the original tenets of what they later Romanized and made far worse using pagan influence, unfortunately. But in combining these two things, they cheapened everything. So there is no end times. There's no Christian end times. The book of Revelation is symbolic. Has nothing to do with the future. That's number one. Yeah, cue some fundamentalists, breathing down my neck on this. Well, I am right on a dogmatic sense. You can disagree with that, but that means you don't understand the history of your own religion, so why would I take that seriously? But moreover, it's just an eclipse. That's all it is. It's astronomical movements. It has no real greater purpose. The only thing that I would say, it's like with 2012 with the Mayan calendar stuff. I came out at the time and said, no, this isn't going to be the end times. But it can produce a consciousness shift. That's because enough people believe that it's a harbinger of something greater. A population's belief in an otherwise mundane thing having meaning affects that culture. Quite clearly it does. Our culture was built by people who, in many cases, were irrational and superstitious at times. That informed the form of the culture that then spawned. The same is true of comets and eclipses and things like that. Now, I see an eclipse really as a good thing. I see it as a very positive omen for the near future, and here's why. Most people within any culture believe in stability and the establishment. They're basically sheep, slaves or serfs, whatever you want to term them, and they don't like to rock the boat. But then you get something like this that gets people thinking about change and chaos and calamity and all these things, and it can produce minute changes in that culture, most often favoring change, most often favoring chaos. So a population of people hundreds of years ago, they look up, they see a comet in the sky. Oh, well, it's the doom of our time. Plague is coming or something. And so people start altering their actions. Even those that don't consciously believe in any of it, they're like, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Maybe subconsciously they think a little bit differently. They don't even realize that it affects their behavior or the way they see the world. All of a sudden, some other event that has nothing in connection with the eclipse, with the comet, with the asteroid, is given greater significance to them as well. That definitely produces some occult thinking. It also produces religious zealots, unfortunately. But eclipses don't have greater meaning in the sense of, oh, well, if you conduct this ritual while the sun is blotted out, you can summon the devil or something like that. And it's not going to happen. Sorry, there are plenty of listed ways to summon Satan. As far as I know, I've never met the dude, so just take it that way from somebody who actually believes in and somewhat understands various forms of occultism. It's not going to produce, though, the fact that the sun is going to be absent for a few minutes out of your day is not going to cause demons to spring out of the ground, the Antichrist to be born, and all of these other fantastical sort of things that you say will happen. It's just not. And so August 22nd will come, and it'll be another day. And August 23rd will come, and pretty soon it'll be the end of the year, and we'll still be here. And I've said this: if an end times ever does happen in this world, it won't be because of religion per se. It could be the result of people creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, like let's say a group of Zionists decides, we're going to rebuild the third temple. Oh, okay, that means we're going to have to bomb the Dome of the Rock or something. Yeah, that could cause some biblically proportioned issues that would lead to an enormous amount of suffering and probably a nuclear war. But the nuclear war is what would cause your end times. It wouldn't be because some god came down and started laying waste to the world. It would be humans. Mundane, very normal humans going completely nuts because of something they give greater importance. That's the problem. It's just like a church or a mosque or synagogue or temple or whatever is ultimately just a building. It's where people happen to congregate. But those people give it greater importance than the cement and wood it's actually made out of. So when that religious site is damaged by some natural event, it's given religious importance. If it is attacked by the enemies of that religion, they can always build a new temple. It requires no greater effort than any other comparably sized and composed structure. But it could start a war very easily. It could certainly start all sorts of sectarian conflicts, and usually does. Despite the fact that it's still just a building. It could be used for any other purpose. You could turn it just as easily into a hospital or an apartment. And so that's sort of the way that humans govern and manage the world. It also governs their philosophy. And it gets into, of course, psychology and all of these other things. No, the eclipse is not going to end the world. See, you can sleep soundly. See, I'm telling you as someone who studies such things on a daily basis. No, it's not going to end the world, so stop worrying. It's just like, the millennium, Y2K. Oh no, all the computers will stop. World commerce will grind to a halt. We shall all be starved. Or 2012, or the Georgia Guidestones, which they said were going to cause, mass genocide in 2015. It's not going to happen. Humans are all very, very good at killing one another. There may come a time, maybe in our lifetimes, you can hope against it, although the future looks bleak at the moment with the U.S. and Russian relations, and U.S.-Chinese relations as well. You can definitely consider the possibility of nuclear annihilation, or, Yellowstone really does blow its top, earthquake swarms that are totally normal aside, or an asteroid comes, slams into the ocean, and destroys 500 million people. Those are all very possible, but they're not willed by some deity. The people that are claiming this don't even understand how their deity actually works within a biblical conception, so why would their predictions mean anything? They can't, because they don't even understand their own dogma. It's like anybody. If you misunderstand the basis of a religious system or a spiritual system, how the hell are you supposed to use that to predict what's going to happen in the future based on your spiritual mumbo-jumbo? You have to at least, even if you give the religion itself validity, you have to understand the basis from which it comes and what is or is not possible according to its foundation. Otherwise, you're saying, oh, the religion was worthless because it got usurped by a dogma that outcompeted it but ultimately is nothing like it. And that's sort of the way that it goes. So stop worrying about the friggin' sun. It's if the sun blows up, then you've got problems. The sun being momentarily blotted out from the human perspective here on this particular rock doesn't mean really much of anything. That's about all. Peace out.